Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, everyone.
It's maybe 7:05.
Maybe.
Not
A little
super
bit of a
punctual.
later start now that things are starting to relax a little bit. We still have kids peeing off the back porch though.
That's a super random thing to say, but we did just have that happen, so it's one of the
We did.
reasons we were late.
Yeah, we did. Came out
I'm
doing the
glad we
dance.
didn't.
They got
I'm glad we didn't
most of it
start
off-
the live
most of it
video
got off
and
the porch.
then.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's graphic. but
Wow, people are jumping on fast. I guess because we're running late.
We're
It's
late.
fun.
Yeah.
Good to see everybody. Hope you had a good
Sorry
Monday.
we're late. Happy Green Monday. Hey, we're both wearing green. Look at us.
We're trying.
You're wearing the shirt,
I'm wearing the shirt.
but Green
Nothing but
Monday
the best.
it counts.
Miss Linda, Susie, good evening to you. Hannah, I like the unicorn girl.
The unicorn was
classy.
so
Nothing but the
adorable.
best. Nothing but the best. Bring it to the drive-in service at the high
Oh,
school this
man.
Sunday.
I
Make
feel
sure you do
like-
that.
I feel like
Make
it
sure you do
might-
that. Decorate some cars, y'all. It's going to be a blast. I think Matt's got the whole praise team. Everybody's coming out. It's going to be a good stinking time.
I don't know that we can confirm that, but we've invited everyone.
Everybody's been invited. Well, I'm thinking most of them are going to show up. And
Please do.
if they
Everybody go.
can, you can also stay at home. I understand if you do. But this Sunday, Morgan County High School, at 11 o'clock, we're going to have an outdoor drive-in service. It's going to be a blast. I invite you to check it out.
Today, the kids and I washed our car in preparation for having it be in public with hopefully decorations.
Oh, yeah.
They're pumped. I'm pumped. We're just
I'm
excited
pumped.
for an outing.
Just to try it out. And the cars look great.
They do. They look, used still. Nobody's ever going to accuse us of having
They
the
can accuse
best
us of
car,
lots of
best
things.
looking car.
But that's not one of the things you can accuse us of. Hannah.
Trying to let Phil-
Yeah, let Phil. Phil, come on.
Come on,
Let the
Phil.
girl bring her unicorn.
The question is, did you ever call Phil all week? You didn't, did you?
Should we call him now? Do you have your phone?
I might not have his number.
Well, we don't want to put his number on the Facebook. I'm going to call Phil live. Let's do that live. It'll be like a movie.
Oh, I'm sure Phil's looking forward to that.
Oh, Phil.
I'm sorry, Phil. I didn't
Phil.
mean to throw you
It's
under the
nothing
bus.
personal.
Now
buddy.
he's going to call you live, and look what happens.
Oh, wow. It's awkward.
He just puts you
It's
out
just
there,
awkward.
and then before you know it, it's been 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
live.
Phil who? Phil? We will. We're going to get that together. So come out Sunday at 11. And then this is another cool thing, actually. It's pretty new. That was a good goal.
Oh, goodness.
was a good goal.
Don't start.
A couple of ministers in town. I got a call from Pastor Terrell from Union Springs Church in Rutledge. And they had 5 or 6 different churches this weekend, all their pastors giving out food on Saturday. And he asked me if anyone would like to help. And he even asked me, he said, "You got a pen to write this on?" I was like, "Yeah, I got a pen. I'm riding down the road." He's like, "I'll be fine." Completely forgot the times for 2 of these things. But if you're interested, they're going to be packing meals and going to the stores and buying the groceries and then getting them set up. I think one time is on Wednesday and one's on Friday. I'll find out those. But the big actual giveaway, it's a pretty cool thing. I think there are 7 or 8 churches that came together and did it last weekend.
Awesome.
It's going to be Saturday at 11 o'clock at the Morgan County High School, where we're going to have our service the next day.
Cool.
So
Very fun.
if you want to come out and join us this Saturday at 11, and we'll make sure we'll get you to work, help feed some folks
So
in our
we'll be
community.
handing out food on
We're going to be
Saturday.
handing out food on Saturday. That's the first Shawnee's heard of it, but
This is how
just
most
sharing it
things-
with everyone at one time. But it's going to be good. Had a good time yesterday. A good service yesterday. Thanks for everybody that checked it out. I don't know how many views did you see?
Oh, I haven't looked today. It
Just
was-
like 30 or 40,000. Nothing
No.
major. But yeah, we
It's
got
up
that
there.
on the air, and we're excited about that and looking forward to everything else. So I'm trying to decorate. You should definitely do that.
Oh, Hannah, I am so excited to see.
Just keep trying,
I
Hannah.
can't wait.
Just keep trying.
So we attended the Harmony Campus Drive-In yesterday as a family, which was good. It was a lot of fun. My favorite thing is that at the end of every song, everybody just honks their horn.
Everybody honks
it's really
their horn.
fun.
It's classic. I like
And
it.
then Miss Kathy had her car all decorated on the inside with balloons and a poster. So cute.
That was very cute.
So that's why we're friends. She's
That's
so
why we're
cute.
friends. We're
She's
trying
a
it
fun
out.
lady.
Absolutely right.
If you go to the women's retreat in the fall, I don't know what it will look like, but normally we have a really fun time at the women's retreat. And me and Miss Kathy and our friends stay up all night and talk. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds good. I'll be
all
home
the sweet ladies.
with the kids.
I don't think we slept. Some of us didn't sleep at all. I slept maybe an hour last year, but pretty sure Kathy and her crew stayed up all night.
They don't play.
Those
If you're a
are party
retired teacher,
animals.
it doesn't matter.
When you're a retired middle school teacher, all the rules
You break them all.
You've broken them all.
You break them all. You probably
So-
broke them all in your career. You know what I mean? But that's good stuff.
If you can teach middle school, you should be able to break all the rules. There should be no rules for you.
Middle school. Well, anyway, I'm trying to think of other announcements you have. You have any other announcements? I think I'm good. Well, just to give you all an update on what's coming up, this Sunday we'll have the drive-in service at the Morgan County High School parking lot. It's going to be awesome. The next 2 Sundays, Jonathan and I drove in today. It's stinking cool. It's a cool spot. We're just
this
calling it Peggy's Barn.
Peggy's Barn.
We're going to get the address to Peggy's Barn
It's
soon.
way more established.
It's like kind of in
than it sounds
the
when we say
region
Peggy's
of
Barn.
Parks Mill and Reed's Ferry, kind of in that region of Buckhead, you know, kind of in that area, near the Stevens, if you're coming on our side, on that side of town.
Come to our house.
And then
Stop
turn
about
around and
5
go
minutes.
back.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a good spot, y'all. It's like a full acre of covered open air. It's nice. It's a nice setup.
Open
So
air is all we really need.
get a little breeze in there, and that one's going to be a little different. What we're going to do is you can also stay in your car and listen to it on the radio, but we're going to start easing back into stuff. We're going to have some sections in there. If you're up for bringing some camping chairs and kind of spreading out under the acre of covered area,
Period of transition.
period of transition.
sit in a
Come on
camping
out for the next
chair.
couple weeks. We'll make sure we do it.
I don't know. We learned a lot from having the kids in the drive-in service. You hit that 30-minute mark, and then you better have some snacks in the car for those kids,
That's right.
or
They're gonna
some
get
crafts, or
worn out.
both. And even then, just be prepared. So
And
you might want a
even
camping chair.
then,
I don't know, but the
it'll be a good
barn
time.
will be big enough for us to all do that.
The barn will be big enough. It's going to be a good time, y'all. Looking forward to it.
coming.
That'll be the next couple weeks.
I think so too, Hannah. Decorate your car and use the hashtag LakePointMadLove in some way on your car.
That's right. Use that hashtag. Keep sending those pictures in.
I
It's gonna be
also
some good stuff.
am kind of after Danny to track down any of our bumper stickers that we might have for our church. If
Yeah,
we
we'll
find
pass those
any,
jokers out.
we'll have them passing out. If you don't have a Lake Point bumper sticker on your car and you'd
We'll
like
get you one.
we're going to try to have those, hopefully have those this Sunday.
That's right.
But I feel like we ordered a new set, and that was several years ago.
Yeah.
So we have to
They're
try.
in a drawer somewhere. We'll find
It
them.
was before we moved into our building, so they could be anywhere. We'll find them. We will find them. So this week is Ruth. Very exciting. I like
pumped.
Ruth. I like Ruth. It's always a good,
Simple spelling. R-U-T-H.
yes, simple 4-letter spelling. It's traditional.
I know you had something else to say. You're talking about Ruth. What else we got?
I'm just excited. I didn't
I
know
love
if you
it.
were going to start or.
Oh, no. I'm pacing myself on the Monday. But no, yeah, we're getting into Ruth. I just have a couple verses underlined. A lot of background here. So it depends on how deep you want to go into the background. You got it open to the background page.
I have my background page.
Share
I
some
read
background.
through. I feel like I did a little more preparing for this than you.
Nope.
I'm pretty excited.
Wow. Go you there for?
Not really. I just have more notes on this page that are printed in my Bible. That's it. I just thought it was neat that we aren't sure who the author of this book is, but it suggested that it might be Samuel the prophet because of the similarity in language between the books of Ruth and Judges and Samuel. Or it might be Hezekiah or David, but we really don't know who the author is. And then it's generally understood that this happened during the reign of David. Or that was
That
written,
this was written during the reign of David,
during the reign of David. Not that it happened, but it was written, which is about 1000 BC.
It's a little while back. A little while back.
And then, so it starts off in Bethlehem, and then that's where Naomi and her husband and their 2 boys are from. And then they go into Moab, which is, interestingly enough and disgustingly enough, the nation that was formed by Lot
Oh, here it comes.
and his daughter.
Have fun explaining that one to your kids when they get to that part of
Yeah.
the scripture. Good grief, Lot.
So I guess
Should have
the descendants of that lovely
that.
arrangement.
Apparently, someone
Formed
pretty enough for you guys
Moab.
married.
So it's sort of assumed, and maybe something we're going to say tonight, is that probably when Naomi and her husband, I can't remember his name. Oh,
Starts with
can't
an E. Elimelech.
Elimelech, I was looking for an M. When Naomi and her husband left, it probably wasn't something that was like quote unquote ordained by God. So they
What's that?
left to go to Moab.
Yeah,
Early in
because there was a
chapter one.
famine. There was a famine in Israel, so they had to dip out and go find some food.
But anyway, that's what my background page said. It was very interesting too because she talks about later, she implies an indictment of unfaithfulness to God because they left
Yeah.
to go to Moab. But it's
Yeah.
not written directly, it's just implied.
And this happened in what's called the time of the Judges. So it's like Joshua, Judges, Ruth. There's some cool stories in Judges. That's where you get Samson and some good stuff. The Judges is a period of about 300 years after Joshua, like after Joshua dies out, and before King Saul begins to take into reign. So it's this time of like
I thought you were going to say Ruth, and I was like, yeah, Joshua does Ruth.
Joshua judges Ruth, duh. But no, it's this time in between when the Israelites, which is pretty much a lot of their history, just like a lot of our history, it's like they trust the Lord, things go well. When things get well, they get comfortable, they start following other ways, and things go bad, and they call on the name of the Lord. So it's like up, down, up, down. And that's where Ruth, this is taking place during that time. So during the time of the Judges period, where there's not like a king on the throne, there's not King David or King Saul or Solomon or anything like that. They're just kind of, God keeps giving these prophets and judges, so they're kind of in the in-between.
Makes sense. Do you want to start?
So I didn't rely on a way down here. So
I know. Do you want me to say? Okay. So basically, the story begins with Naomi and her husband. I can't find it on my paper. Elimelech. And they have two sons, Mahlon and Chilion.
Good names if you're having kids. Those are good names.
Of Bethlehem, Judah. And there it is, Elimelech. He dies. Did they go to? They went to Moab first because of the famine. So the whole family, mom, dad, two sons, travel to Moab, and
Kids, the boys are probably younger at that time.
Food, they're just hungry. So they go to Moab, and yeah, the boys are probably at least too young to be married. Then while they're there, the two boys take Moabite wives named Orpah, or do you say Orpah or do you say Orpah?
I say Orpah, but that's just because I like the way it sounds. I don't even know what the correct
Terrible
pronunciation
name.
is. That's just what I say.
So one of them had a terrible name, and one of them had the name of Ruth. And then, very sadly, the husband dies, and then both sons die.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about three widows that are all in this Moabite kingdom, basically fending for themselves.
Yeah. Why is that a big deal? Like, why is it a big deal, you think? For anybody that might not know, if you haven't been raised in the church and that kind of stuff.
I feel like that's a loaded
Like,
question.
couldn't they just get like a job at Dollar General or something?
I feel like you have a specific, because they're widows?
Yeah. It's like back in the day,
I don't know where you're
like it
leading.
was a little bit
They're
more difficult
widows.
for women to get things done. You know what I mean? So especially in Old Testament times, they had no man to kind of carry on the family name. So that's kind of Naomi's biggest thing here is she says, hey, to her daughters-in-law, y'all got to go back to your homes, find some husbands and have some kids, because I'm just an old widow, you know, because in Old Testament culture, all the way into New Testament culture, a lot of the daily decisions were actually passed down by the man in the house or whoever had that ability. So Ruth's becoming a widow. Naomi's becoming a widow. Her status is pretty low. So she's actually encouraging her daughter-in-laws. That's why she encourages them in the next few verses to go back to Moab. She says, y'all going back to your homeland, find some husbands and have a family, because I'm just old and single and this is not going to work for me.
It also does talk about in my Bible that in that day, kind of the law, or at least the social acceptable practice, was that a young widow could go back to live with her own family in her father's house. So this was, I guess, the day of like dowries, when you would trade your daughter off for livestock or different things. And then because of the law, if she became a widow as a young person, she could just come right back into your household. But because Naomi is old and not even from that country, she's more of a liability. So she's got to go back home to where she came from. And she's sort of like, just stay with your dads. Like, go back to your families, and seems like the logical thing for her to say.
So they do. They go back to Israel, and that's what she decides to do, and they're getting ready to go. But along the way, she's encouraging her daughter-in-law, said, y'all go back? No, yes, no, yes, no. Finally, Orpah's like, fine, I'm out. I'm going to go back to
Which is really a very logical...
It makes total sense for that to happen. And then Ruth's like, nope, I'm sticking with you. I'm sticking with you. And it shows this really intense relationship between the two of them. I think for a lot of reasons. One, like the Moabites weren't Jewish. They didn't believe in God, the God that we serve. So there's a good chance that Naomi actually led at least Ruth to the faith. You know, I think it was more for Ruth than just like, hey, I'm going to call myself Israelite now. I'm going to marry into this family. Personally, when we see these verses we're about to read, I think Ruth is saying, no, like this woman has drastically changed my life. She's been a major influence in my life, which is why we get some of these very, very famous verses in just a little bit from Ruth when she's talking to her mother-in-law and saying, look, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stick with you.
The one verse that stuck out to me that's still before the one, mine is number 9. Naomi is telling the daughters-in-law, go back to your family, that the Lord will deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant that you may find rest, each in the house of her husband. So this is part of her argument to them that they should go back. And my Bible says that rest here is not just like taking a nap or going and resting physically, but it's the absence of anxiety. So she's saying go back and have a secure, provided for, blessed life. But also she mentions the Lord in all capital letters. So when you see that in the Old Testament, that means Yahweh, which is the Hebrew word for her God. And so she's saying, like, my God will take care of you, which is a very
She's
meaningful way
promising
for
that
her
over
to say
them,
that.
which is really sweet.
It's really like a blessing,
Yeah.
which I thought was really neat. Rayanna said, I choose to believe that David wrote it. It was like he was writing and talking about his own grandmother. It makes me smile. I like that
Well,
too.
that's sweet, Brianna. I
It
like that
also
one.
did say that the one historical benefit of Ruth is the genealogy of David is recorded in Ruth. So that actually kind of makes a lot of sense.
Pretty impressive because Jesus is in the bloodline. That's some good stuff right there. You can't make that
It's
stuff
pretty
up.
neat.
So they have that conversation. She finally kisses Orpah goodbye and says, all right, you got to go. And Orpah does. She returns home at her mother-in-law's request. And then it says, but Ruth clung to her. Ruth held on tightly to her. And then we get into these verses. I'm just going to read them. She said, see, your sister-in-law's gone back to her people, her gods, return, go with her. But Ruth said, don't urge me to leave or return from following you. And these are the good verses here. For where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. That's some good stuff. I'm going to read the rest of them after that. Where you die, I will die, and I will be buried there. May the Lord do so to me and more, if anything but death parts me from you. And then it says, and when Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more. I like
They
all
spoke
those
no
verses.
more, and then it just says,
She was
and
like-
then they walked to Bethlehem.
So Naomi was like,
did they walk in silence the whole time?
bam, like, let's just make this thing happen.
Sort of like drop
So,
the mic.
I mean,
There's
I'm
nothing
just
to
going to be
say.
honest here. And these are two women. So you can imagine if it was like a man and a woman. But these are two women. And finally, the one woman's like, nope, let me explain how this is about to go down. And even the other woman was like,
Okay.
well played.
Sounds
Let's
good.
go. But I love that. One, that first verse, where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people, my people. Your God, my God. It's a beautiful verse and some beautiful wordage to say to anyone that you truly care about, if you genuinely mean it. Because she pretty much makes a covenant with her, almost like like the same thing that we do at weddings. When I'm officiating a wedding, is you're promising before God and anybody else that's around to be with that person for the rest of your days. And she's doing that with her mother-in-law. I mean, so
think
that's
that
a very
I think the
random
usage
part.
of her word, the Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything, the fact that she uses Yahweh again sort of made it a covenant
making
in
a covenant.
Naomi's. Like it was not just a fancy thing to say or
like,
the
I
nice
promise
thing
this.
to say in the moment. She was pledging her commitment to Naomi, no matter what, for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Which is not something you see in a mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationship very often. I don't think so, but you just don't see it very much. But also, you hear this a lot in weddings, and a lot of people don't realize that it's not a romantic commitment. It can be.
It can be. Yeah,
You can put it
to
in
the
that
right people.
context, and it's a beautiful commitment, but it originated with a daughter-in-law
And her mother-in-law,
who was a widow
who really
to her
cared about each
mother-in-law
other.
who was a widow.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I think it's really sweet.
And then she was determined to. So they said no more. They're like, and
She's-
let's silence this.
and then
joker.
it basically kind of says they didn't talk until they got
And
to
after
Bethlehem.
that, they told her to go to Bethlehem. So you get into
I
Bethlehem.
wonder how long of a trip that was.
Hopefully it wasn't long, because that will be awkward if you've ever been in a car that's silent for a long time. It says they go to Bethlehem. Everybody notices that they're showing up because, hey, it's a big deal. You know, two people, especially if you figure if Naomi hadn't been there in a while and now she's finally making it back. One of the things that to me, and I mean, I'm a guy, but I think for me seeing this as a man, but just seeing the tenderness of her heart, it says that Naomi, when they run up to her, they're like, Naomi, 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 like, because they missed her for a while. And she says, don't call me Naomi anymore. And Naomi meant pleasant, which is a sweet name to give somebody. That like
That is
it's
a sweet
pleasant, just pleasantly. She says, don't call me Naomi anymore. Call me Mara, which means bitter.
Bitter.
And I mean, we could make a lot of jokes about that. Like, come on, Naomi. Like, y'all, her life had fallen apart. You know, let's think about, like, she moved out of her homeland to go find food because it was famine. And then her husband died that clearly she loved. And then her two sons died that she clearly loved. And she had to go back home with a daughter-in-law that clearly she loved too. But, like, her life had completely fallen apart. And yet she's still going home. But she says those things and says, don't call me Naomi, call me Mara, which means bitter. I went away full, and the Lord has brought me back empty. That's some powerful words. She said, I went away
She's
full.
mourning.
She's in the middle of mourning. Couple thoughts on that. It's okay to mourn. I mean, that's some normal, healthy stuff. I mean, she's in the middle of it. It takes different amounts of time for different people. But those are powerful words. I went away full, and the Lord has brought me back empty. But even in that line there, I mean, she's clearly in the middle of a struggle. I like that in here that she's still, like you said, Lord with all caps. She's still claiming the Lord's provident. Like she's still saying, like, God is still with me. I am just broken. You know, it's like the Lord's still in control. She's not questioning her faith. She's not going down that road. She's just saying this has been a hard year. You know, but the Lord has brought me back. You know, He's brought me back.
I wonder,
empty.
it never really says until, we'll read more about their whole story this week, but I wonder at that moment where Ruth didn't leave, you know, Orpah's already turned around and left, which really does make a lot of sense for her culture and their way they were brought up. It was the custom. But then Ruth stays. I wonder what Naomi, you kind of think about what Ruth was giving up. She's leaving her homeland. And I don't think it's a situation where she's going to go back and see her family necessarily. I think usually when you move like this, you are sort of moving. It was a big deal. But whether or not she would see him or not, it was still a big sacrifice. She was uprooting her life and going to a place she'd never been. So you think about Ruth a lot, but I wonder what Naomi, she was probably relieved, I guess, because she was going to have somebody to take care of her. Or is it
I
complicating?
think it was
also?
complicated. I think she knew that her life was not about to get any easier. You know, it seems like
Because now
husband
you have
passed,
to make sure
kids
two
passed.
people are fed.
Now you got a daughter-in-law, and you're old, and you're a widow, and you're in a homeland where most of your people have already passed away because you've been gone for a long time. Like it's like
I feel
just
like
a
there
lot
might have
of-
been a lot of pressure. Now you're like, okay, now I really have this young girl that I've got to care for also. I've just never thought about it like that.
That's good.
Now you all of a sudden have this dependent. I mean, she's younger and probably more capable, but if Naomi had just gone back to her homeland as a widow all by herself, probably she would have been taken in by somebody and then just cared for. But this complicates it in a really beautiful way. They really look out for each other.
Yep.
It's just something to think about.
So it says, Naomi returned, Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law with her, who returned from the country of Moab, and they go to Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. So it just kind of introduces it there. It is pretty cool because up until this point, at least for another 1,000 years after this, Bethlehem's just some random city run by shepherds. You know, we hear Bethlehem like, oh, that's where Jesus was born. They didn't know that yet. You know, they didn't know that the bloodline was going to take it there. But
Just a city.
they're just moving to a city because of the barley harvest. Why? I think because they're hungry. So this is some powerful stuff. I mean, these women can identify with a lot of different people groups. I mean, they were refugees for a while in a different country. They became widowed. They were experiencing famine and severe hunger. They did not have a people group. You know, they were all these different things. And they're literally looking for food. Why'd they go to Bethlehem? It wasn't because of the scenery. They went because of the barley harvest, which means, we're going to read the next chapter, they went to try to find scraps of food.
Basically, the famine had passed over Judah, and now they were able to
Go back and try to
grow
get something to eat.
barley and bread.
Kind of get back into it.
And
figuring that out.
is it Judah that's called? Bethlehem is called the house of bread, right? That's one thing that it was sort of a theme that my Bible pointed out, that it's ironic that they left a place called the house of bread because of famine, and then they return to the house of bread because the famine has passed. So
good.
that's where we leave the story for tonight.
That's where we're leaving, guys. Hope you have a lovely Monday evening. And we will see everybody tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Yep, chapter
All
2.
right. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.